Warm welcome to the program. I'm Liz Walker in Lagos. The Kremlin today said that Russian forces did not target residential buildings in its missile strike against Ukraine, 2 days after a Russian missile hit an apartment complex in Dnipro in an attack that Kyiv says killed more than 30 civilians. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the situation in Dnipro was the result of Ukrainian counter-missiles and air defense. Well, in the meantime, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said rescue efforts in Dnipro would continue as long as there was any chance of finding survivors after a Russian missile hit the apartment building over the weekend. Speaking to Ukrainians in his usual nightly address, Mr. Zelensky also said Russians who failed to condemn the attack were cowards.
As of this moment, it remains unknown the fate of more than 30 people who could have been in the building at the time of the terrorist missile hit. Dozens of people were rescued from under the rubble, including 6 children. We are fighting for every person. The rescue operation will be conducted.
Well, back to the Kremlin. It also denied any conflict between the Defense Ministry and the Wagner mercenary group fighting for Russia in Ukraine, calling it an invention of the media. Tension between Wagner and the defense establishment burst into the open last Friday when the ministry claimed the capture of the Ukrainian town of Soledar, which Ukraine disputed, but made no mention of Wagner's role in the fighting. Wagner's boss, Yevgeny Prigozhin, complained of attempts to minimize his forces' role and belittle their achievements. The Defense Ministry later issued an update praising the courageous and selfless actions of Wagner fighters. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters it was unhelpful for pro-Russian media to take part in media manipulations about an alleged rift between the armed forces and Wagner. He said Russia recognized both as heroes, and both of them will be forever in their memory. Well, following Britain's plans to send tanks to Ukraine, Russia has said they will burn, warning the West that supplying a new round of more advanced weapons to Ukraine would not change the course of the war. Since President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into Ukraine February 24, the United States and its allies have given tens of billions of dollars worth weaponry, including rocket systems, drones, armored vehicles, and communication systems. Britain said on Saturday that it would send 14 of its Challenger 2 main battle tanks, as well as other advanced artillery support in the coming weeks.
We evaluate and perceive it very negatively. We don't hide our attitude. In fact, the UK and other European countries, such as Poland, which talk about plans to arrange a new round of supplies of more advanced and technologically military equipment for Ukraine, are not able to change the situation on the spot. They must understand this. They are able to drag out the whole story and bring out more trouble to the state of Ukraine. However, we strongly doubt that they somehow care about the fate of the people who live in Ukraine, about their future. They use this country as a tool to achieve their anti-Russian goals. Nothing can change this. The special military operation will continue. These tanks will burn and will burn, just like the rest of the goals of the special military operation will be achieved.
Well, elsewhere, the cargo ship MKK-1 traveling from Ukraine to Turkey was grounded in Istanbul's Bosphorus Strait today, and traffic in the strait was suspended, but no damage reported. Several tugs were among the vessels sent to provide assistance to the ship. The Coast Guard authorities said the bow of the ship, carrying 13,000 tons of peas, grounded close to the coastline on the Asian side of the Bosphorus. The Joint Coordination Center in Istanbul, which runs the UN-brokered Black Sea grain deal operations, said at the weekend the ship was traveling from Privdeni to the Turkish Mediterranean port of Mersin. Tribeca said the Palo-flagged general cargo ship was grounded at the Kamburnu at the northern end of the strait early on Monday as it headed southbound. It said no damage or spill was reported. German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht has asked Chancellor Olaf Scholz for her dismissal. She said this in a written statement, the culmination of growing skepticism about her ability to bring the German army into shape against the backdrop of the Ukraine war. The minister has been blamed for failing to get the Bundeswehr back in shape quickly, despite a €100 billion special fund being agreed on for that purpose after Russia invaded Ukraine. The long-running debate over the state of Germany's defense capabilities intensified last month when several Puma infantry tanks were put out of service during a recent military drill. This was recently criticized by media and opposition figures for posting an outdoor video on social media on New Year's Eve in which she thanked servicemen and women, but struggled to be heard against background noise from firecrackers and seemingly mixed up the war in Ukraine, but pleasant personal encounters. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says the European Union needs to keep increasing pressure on Russia and supporting Ukraine. Speaking at a joint news conference with Swedish Prime Minister Kristersson in Kiruna, Ms. von der Leyen said the diversification of gas supplies led to a decrease in purchasing price since the start of the conflict in Ukraine, and at the subsequent reduction of Russian gas deliveries. The head of the European Commission also said the 27-member bloc needs financing tools for its clean tech industry to help it compete against the United States, where firms have government support through Inflation Reduction Act.
Keep increasing the pressure on Russia, and we will continue, of course, our unwavering support for Ukraine. So today, we can say this hard work paid off. Gas prices today are now lower than they were before Russia's invasion. The gas prices for the Dutch futures contracts have dropped over 80% since August. Our storage levels are filled with 83%. This is among the highest levels ever at this time of the year. And we deployed twice as much renewable energy capacity as expected last year. Therefore, it's so important to have, besides the state aid that should be used, also a funding tool or funding tools that we will develop that give an answer to the need of investment in clean tech, mostly common European projects and common European interests in the green transition. And here I think it is for us very important to be fast. Therefore, I really welcome the excellent cooperation with the Swedish presidency, because the investment decisions are being taken now, and we need the green transition now. What is important for us, and I want to repeat that again, is that with the clean tech sector and all its innovative power that it has, we have a level playing field. We want to compete on quality. That's important. We do not want to compete on subsidies, but on quality. And therefore, the funding element for us is important, first of all, to have the needs assessment so that we have facts and figures on what exactly is the definition of the clean tech sector, what exactly is the impact, and where do we have to have the targeted support of the public European funding. The changes have to be implemented in a law that then would lead to the disbursement of funding under Next Generation EU. But first of all, the implementation and the legal solutions have to be found by Poland itself.